probably it's an insanely powerful technology. And I've been thinking about this too, is that we misapprehend what's happening because it's easy to think that the women on Pornhub, for example, who are participating, the men as well, just women, but they're not women in a way. They're women machine hybrids because no woman can be in a million rooms at the same time. And you can think about that also with regard to sites like OnlyFans, is the women have been transformed into images that can be propagated everywhere. And that's a insane technological revolution. And it's also very possible for young women to monetize their beauty, right? And tempting for them to do that because, well, a small proportion of them can make a very large amount of money and in a manner that appears easy and also that draws a lot of attention. And so if you have a narcissistic tilt or if you've been isolated and are lonely and need attention, then that's a hell of a way to get it. So it's really a bad scene. Now, you said you think that these people can be held accountable. So why don't you tell me about that? Because I'm very curious to see if that's actually the case.
Sure, absolutely. Well, they're distributing, like I said, criminal content. These are crime scenes. These are not consenting adults that I'm talking about. That's not, the focus of my work is underage victims of rape, sex trafficking, and non-consensual image-based abuse that are proliferating on these sites. They have made intentional policy decisions. Let's just take MindGeek, in Pornhub. I want to kind of give you some of that factual background so you can understand, first of all, the complicity of this company, but then we can zoom back from Pornhub to kind of speak about the industry of user-generated porn as a whole and how, we can also hold all of these companies accountable and not just Pornhub. But, I've gone on a journey of discovery over the last 4 years, kind of like peeling back the onion layers of this corporation and understanding how it works and what I call the deep complicity of Pornhub. I'll give you an example. Pornhub, owns most of the world's most popular tube sites. I told you how many videos are uploaded to Pornhub every year. They made a decision to only hire 30 moderators at their office in Cyprus to be reviewing this content. 10 moderators working at a time. They were reprimanded if they viewed less than 700 videos per 8-hour shift. Some of them were watching up to 2,000 videos per 8-hour shift, just clicking through those videos with the sound off. All the while, they knew they weren't verifying ID or age. And this was a guessing game. They were playing Russian roulette with real people's lives, with victims' lives. And that wasn't just for Pornhub. So that was all of the porn tube sites. They had 10 moderating. Compare that to Facebook's 15,000. They still don't have enough moderators even at Facebook. But make that comparison. That was an intentional decision. And those moderators, I spoke to them for dozens of hours. I consider some of them friends at this point because we've spent so much time together discussing how this worked. And, they said that their job was more to allow as much content to go through as possible. So content is king for the porn tube sites. They have to have massive amounts of content in order to drive those Google searches, in order to drive the traffic and sell the advertising.
Why do they need more content if there's 169 years? This is one of the things that I find mysterious about the porn business as a whole. I don't understand how it can be monetized because the internet is absolutely flooded with porn and it's free. So what's the business?
Well, it's the advertising. So mostly, they're making money off of premium subscriptions so that you could buy, so you can pay $9.99 or $19.99 a month and you can watch porn or you can watch the real rape ad-free. They were selling pay-to-download content, which was a small portion of the content on Pornhub. But there's many examples of victims even in that pay-to-download content. There was a 12-year-old boy in Alabama, and he was drugged, and he was overpowered, and he was raped in 23 videos by a man named Rocky Shea Franklin. And they were being paid, that was pay to download content where he entered into a profit sharing relationship with Pornhub to split that 35%, 65% for Rocky, 35% for Pornhub. They were selling those videos. Police reached out multiple times to Pornhub demanding those videos be removed, and they were ignored. They stayed on the site for 7 months, hundreds of thousands of views. They put an intentional download button on every single piece of content on Pornhub. Again, an intentional policy decision to place that. And that's not like a YouTube download where you can just access it when you're off of the internet. This was a possession of that content. It was a transfer from 1,700 servers that Pornhub has. A transfer of that illegal criminal content onto the devices of potentially 5 million users an hour so that that child's trauma could then be immortalized. And these victims, they call it the immortalization of their trauma.
Right,
where they
right,
say,
right.
you know, it was one thing when I was raped, but to have that filmed and then uploaded, monetized for profit and pleasure and globally distributed
right.
so that it will be downloaded and uploaded for the rest
that's
of my
that
life.
machine-human hybrid issue popping up because it's far more than
for victims.
Yeah,
and
for
it's a
victims,
sadistic
exactly.
game of whack-a-mole for them where they, you know, would beg Pornhub to get these videos down. I mean, the testimony of so many of these victims was they would beg for these videos. I saw the emails, the begging emails, and they would be hassled by Pornhub.